Hey everyone, welcome back to the Drafthouse. I'm Roman.
I'm Joel.
And welcome to Last Call, the final say on board games. Today we're going to discuss Drop It.
So I'm a little bit more familiar with Drafthouse. I'm going to try to explain this. It's a bit like Connect 4, where you're dropping the pieces into the top of this tower, and you're trying to gather points. And the way that you do that is, say I have this piece here, and I want to drop it in. The only requirement when I drop this in is that it doesn't touch any area that has the symbol of the object on it. So I don't want it to touch here, I don't want it to touch up there, but that won't really be a problem. But once this piece is in, we now have, oh, well, see, I fucked that one up. There's a 0 for you. But now that it's the other person's turn, they also can't touch those same symbols or outlines as the piece that's been dropped in, but they also can't drop in another piece. Well, they can. Fuck me.
I can't drop this piece.
So the next person can then drop a piece in, but now they have to not touch those symbols with whichever piece they choose to drop in. They also can't touch a previous piece that's been dropped in that matches the same color or that matches the same shape. So right now, as we don't have that many pieces in there, it's going to be easy for the guy with the green and the red to not touch those same colors. But as it comes back to my turn, I now can't touch the diamond to this diamond that's over here. I can't touch a square to this square over here. And in a few turns, I'm also going to have my colors poking up where I have to avoid dropping onto those. The higher that your pieces reach in the tower, they're worth more points, as is indicated on the sides here. You also get points for your pieces touching one of these circles. You get more points for touching the smaller circles, and at the end of the game, of course, the person with the most points wins. Roman.
Yes.
What do you think about this game?
I like it. I actually like it a lot. Simple to play, easy rules to follow, no real... It's very simple mechanics, so you're not going to fuck it up. But yeah, no, I liked it a lot, and it does get tricky sometimes because I can't touch that piece or that piece, so I'm gonna have to go use this green triangle or whatever and just drop that in there.
So we've played in a 3-player setup mostly, and when you play 3 players, you have one particular color that you have all of the pieces of, but then you also only have like a few pieces of one color, say the yellow here, and then your opponent will also have some of those. So very quickly on, you have a lot of space on the board or in the tower that you can't really interact with. Or you try to get real tricky with it, where you're like taking the diamond piece and basically trying to stab it into wedges in between other pieces so that it doesn't fall over and lightly graze another diamond that's sitting in there. So it gets a bit funny watching people take their turns.
Yeah, for sure. I think even though it is simple to play and easy to get a hold of, I'd give it a blue label. Solid blue label from me. Just because you can keep playing it and playing it and playing it and playing it, and yeah, it's the same game every time. There's nothing's going to change on you, but except for how the pieces fall.
Yeah, I do really think it is sort of like this advanced version of Connect 4, because you're throwing in your pieces, but of course you're trying to dissuade easy points from your opponent, so you're trying to drop specific pieces in places so that they can't just throw in a big chunk and reach high up on the board. But you also want to make sure that you're going to have a place to go on your next turn, so you're not trying to screw yourself over there. So you're really, even though it's simple, if you've got a bunch of people sitting around that are pretty cutthroat, they will be thinking a turn or two ahead. And
for sure.
It gets funny, and of course, it doesn't feel like that much of a dexterity game, because once you've dropped the piece, it's sort of out of your hands, but you are sort of trying to manipulate them as they go in, and it's pretty funny trying to watch somebody curve the bullet, as they're just dropping a square block into this thing. Like, it's not gonna work the way you want it to.
Yeah, the first game I played, because there are these lines at funky angles, I thought that there was the actual funky angles in the slot. No, I dropped it right on the
You
square.
just dropped the square,
Yeah.
just
Straight
down,
down. Straight
onto
down.
the square piece. Like, what?
Oh, yeah.
That didn't.
Yeah, that
didn't
wasn't
work so well.
that wasn't where I was intending it to go. I thought it was going to bounce off the walls. So, yeah, it is pretty fun. So
But yeah, good times to be had. Also, like, it's simple enough that definitely, if you have kids, easy game to get them in on. And then you don't have to play, ants in your pants for the
monkeys in a barrel.
8,000th time.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, all right? Ants
But-
in the pants is dope.
Yeah.
But sometimes you need something else, and drop it. I gotta say, also, like, Blue Label for me.
Yeah.
Not perfect, obviously. Again, we like bigger games around here, so it's hard to get into that upper echelon. But a super solid game, definitely worth the investment.
Yeah. So that's it for last call. Blue Label. Solid Blue Label for Drop It. So we'll catch you next week.
Later.